The rumour continues that Kurt Russell is going to return for a new reboot of the Stargate franchise. I initially said that story was a load of rubbish, but might there actually be a little bit more to it? Welcome to SciTrek, your sci-fi TV and movie channel. So on my sister channel, SciTrek Sides, where I do little edits from our live videos, but I also do what I call quick and dirty videos, where I'll do a very quick video and put it out there as fast as I can. Please, there's a link in the description to go and subscribe to that channel. It would really help us out. I did a video very quickly when this giant freaking robot story initially came out. The story, in a nutshell, basically says that Kurt Russell, James Spader were being tapped up to return for a rebooted version of Stargate. Now, this does come from a story back in 2015 when MGM actually went as far as green-lighting a sequel to the original Stargate movie, and Kurt Russell and James Spader were interested. A few years after that, the idea was mooted again, and apparently again, James Spader and Kurt Russell were interested in reprising their roles as Daniel Jackson and Colonel O'Neill. But it never went any further than that because, according to Roland Emmerich, he said Amazon and MGM at the time were not really interested in the moviegoers. They were only interested in the TV fans. By the way, if you like the content, please consider hitting the join button, and you can go to sci-trek.com to buy merchandise, including this We Want Stargate t-shirt that I'm modelling for you at the moment. We really want to push Amazon and put a collective boot up their backsides to bring back one of our favourite and iconic TV shows. So please, get in there, sci-trek.com. Now, I always took that to mean that the TV fans, the SG-1, the SG Atlantis and the SG Universe fans are what mattered. And that's what I've always been told in the last 12 months or so since starting this channel by people that I speak to that work in and around MGM and now Amazon. They have always told me that Amazon do not want to hard reboot this series because they know that would annoy a bulk of the fans. But apparently, again, according to sources that I've spoken to in the last couple of days, there might actually be some truth to this rumour. Now, Giant Freaking Robot have no credibility. They are clickbaiters a lot of the time. They release stories that have no weight to them. But they sometimes do get things right. Now, well over a year ago now, they said that MGM were about to reboot Stargate with 2 new series. They were going to do an animated series and a live-action series. I actually started this channel by doing a video based on that report. That report, once I then developed the channel, started developing sources that working around this, actually, it was a source coming in telling me that that video was wrong that started my progress towards developing a little network of people that I speak to. They told me that actually, even though the story was kicked around and was considered, again, them doing an animated series was considered because MGM at the time did have an animation studio that they were trying to push forwards with, that by the time the story actually was released on Giant Freaking Robot, it was already well out of date. A new executive producer in charge of scripted material had come in and said, we don't have the skills to do that. Let's just concentrate on one series. Let's just concentrate on see how that gets on. Let's talk to Brad and get a script written, and that's what they then did. So, even though that story was old and out of date, it was technically true. My source is telling me that this is kind of the same thing going on here. Apparently, James Spader has not been... there's been no conversations about James Spader returning for a movie. But the story about Kurt Russell returning might actually have some weight to it. And as I've told you before, no decision has been made about Stargate moving forwards. They don't know what they want to do. But like I've also told you repeatedly, Amazon have always wanted to do a movie first. The plan was always to get the sale through quickly, do a movie to re-kickstart the franchise with a big bang, and then move into a new series. MGM, that was not their plan. They were going to just start a new series with Brad Wright. As I've told you again, repeatedly over the last 12 months, Amazon have never been that excited about the Brad Wright project that MGM had put forward, and have been umming and ahhing about what to do about it. Now, Amazon really do think about metadata and things like this. They look at what's going on Twitter, they look at what's going on Facebook, and so on and so on. They really do care what the fans think. The cynic in me says that they care about what the fans think because they're always trying to maximise profit, but let's give them the due, they do listen to us. What they want to do is have a big splash movie. They want to bring back a big movie star, and Kurt Russell's star has been in ascendance in the last few years, since the Netflix series of the Father Christmas movies that they've done so well. He's really become very popular again. They would love him to return as Jack O'Neill in a big movie. Now, I know you're going to say, how on earth could that work? Well, to be honest, they wouldn't even have to destroy canon of SG-1 and SGU and SG-8 particularly. There are ways to get around it, and fans are very forgiving of this sort of thing. And to be honest, they look at what Star Wars has done, bringing back old characters like Han Solo and Luke Skywalker and things, and getting those actors back into the franchises, and how popular that's been, and they wonder if they could do the same with Stargate. Now, I love Kurt Russell. I think he's a great actor. I think he's brilliant in everything. The Father Christmas Chronicles, the Santa Claus Chronicles, whatever it's called, are brilliant movies, and I just think he's great. I would absolutely have no problem in him coming back and reprising his role of Jack O'Neill. But I also love Richard Dean Anderson. Richard Dean Anderson is great, and he might also be willing. You can't bring Kurt Russell back as sort of like an older version of Jack O'Neill, because Richard Dean Anderson is an older version of Jack O'Neill, so it doesn't really make sense. So, where are we at? Well, according to my sources, and these couple of people have both said that this is something that's been bounded around a few times. They've never really put any weight into it, but the rumour does keep continuing to surface, so maybe there's no smoke without fire. Again, these people are not high up executives. They don't necessarily know this for a fact, but they hear whispers around the offices. So what they're saying is largely based on opinion, but it is opinion from people that actually work in and around these projects. So I think we have to give them a little bit of weight. They're saying that they could completely understand Kurt Russell returning. They have never heard any rumours about James Spader or any other actors returning, so it would be potentially a cameo maybe from Kurt Russell, or the way the story works would be sort of a new team. Jack O'Neill comes in at some point for some reason. You know, there's nearly 20 years has gone by since SG-1 finished. We don't really know where Jack is now, so that could be explained somehow. And then that would move forward into the new series following the movie. The first question I asked as well was, would Roland Emmerich be contractually obliged to return for this movie? Now, a couple of the people I do speak to do actually know about contractual stuff, and they have told me not necessarily. Roland Emmerich, in an interview himself a few months ago, actually did say that if they did a new movie for Stargate, he'd probably have to return. He didn't seem very keen to, but he would probably have to return because it's in his contract. According to my source, it wouldn't be contracted for him to return for a movie necessarily. It would be if this franchise was returned for a cinematic release. Now, Amazon, according again to the people I speak to, have no intention of releasing this movie to cinema. It would be released to Amazon Prime. So in that case, Roland Emmerich wouldn't necessarily have to return, or he wouldn't necessarily be contractually obliged to. So, to be honest, after watching some of his more recent projects, I think we might dodge a bullet with that one, because I don't want Roland Emmerich to return. I saw Moonfall. It's awful. To be honest, he's had a long list of a couple of projects recently that have been awful, and I have no problem with him not returning. But if Amazon do go ahead with this idea and this project, then that would mean that Brad Wright's script and Brad Wright's pilot will not happen. Now, towards the end of the MGM sale, while MGM still had control of this franchise before the sale went through to Amazon and they took over, MGM were seriously looking at Brad Wright's script, and they did a lot of preliminary work, including some very preliminary artwork. They also had another script that they were looking at, and they were sort of comparing and contrasting the two. Immediately after the MGM sale went through, MGM believed that they had free rein to move forwards with this project, and they decided they were going to go with the Brad Wright project. And they were, I'm told, really, really close to green lighting it. But Amazon pulled the plug. Amazon decided they were going to review all of MGM's products. The chief executives in charge of MGM then left immediately after that, because Again, I'm told that they believed they were going to have free rein for lots of projects. As soon as that was very clear that they weren't, they felt that they had no choice but leave. So that's why those resignations happened. Amazon have been reviewing all these projects ever since. That review is now, I'm told, largely complete. The Stargate project, I'm again told, is now in sort of a preliminary planning stage, where there is a small team. Apparently there's a little office somewhere at Amazon with Stargate written on the door, I don't know if literally, where they are putting together preliminary plans. For example, if they want to do a new showrunner, if they want a new director for a series or a movie, they would be writing up a short list, basically a small short list of who might be interested, who would be capable, before they then start maybe approaching these people and asking if they want to. So that's literally it's not early planning. This is like early planning. It's ridiculously early in the stages of how movies and TV shows get made, but that is currently happening. Which just basically proves to us again that Amazon are really serious about bringing Stargate back. It's just not going to be as quick as we'd hoped. So, if the movie plan does go ahead, Brad Wright's plan is done. It won't happen. Brad Wright will probably not be involved in a movie. The following series, however, is still complete unknown. And obviously, Amazon might decide that all this is not worth it. They've got a perfectly good script and pilot all ready to go in Brad Wright, and hey, maybe they just go with him. And Amazon do have a working relationship with Brad Wright already. He has put on Twitter before now as well that he's actually written a movie for Amazon. He's done other things with Amazon. So it's very possible that they will actually just change their minds and just go with the project they already have. Finally, just really quickly, before I say goodbye, the We Want Stargate hashtag for the Twitter storm on the 27th of July has caused a little bit of controversy. Apparently a lot of gators that consider themselves to be very important have got very upset with Sebastian, who started this idea, who was one of the first ones to get out there and say, let's do this. They all were complaining that they hadn't been invited, but that has actually now progressed a little bit. And another person that is very highly involved in bringing back Stargate, and actually spoken to Joseph Malozzi and a couple of others, have now insisted that actually the hashtag We Want Stargate needs to be changed. They need to have a hashtag that is specific just to July the 27th. This has exacerbated Sebastian. He feels like he's being attacked left, right and centre, to be honest. And he's emailed me a couple of times saying, I've just had enough of these guys. I don't know why it's become a political statement. I don't know why the hashtag matters. I'm not really big on Twitter. I don't really go on Twitter a great deal, so excuse me if I just don't understand these things. But for me, the hashtag doesn't matter. As long as we're on the same page and we're talking about the same thing, let's just get out there and let's, on July the 27th, dump on hashtag Stargate, hashtag We Want Stargate, hashtag Bring Back Stargate. I don't really care. But get on Twitter on July the 27th and just don't stop. We've got Stargate trending on Twitter for the first time in, it's a show that hasn't been on our screens for 11 years, so I find that amazing. Let's just make as much noise as we possibly can. And please, to all the gators out there, don't infight. Don't argue with each other. Don't make Sebastian feel like a little piece of crap because he's actually trying to do something. Let's get together and pull together as a team, and let's do something that forces Amazon to make a decision sooner rather than later. If you are new to the channel, please like, subscribe, hit the bell notification. It really helps us out. Also, if you enjoy the content, please consider becoming a fully fledged SciTrekker. You can also go to SciTrek.com and buy this t-shirt or a mug or something. And when we do the Twitter storm on July the 27th, do yourself a picture wearing the t-shirt, drinking out the mug, whatever. Because apparently pictures attached to the hashtag actually push it up the trending thing a little bit further, so that's all good. I don't make any money off this. I think I make a couple of pence each one because of the way it rounds out or whatever, but I don't really make any money off this project. I did this because I think it's important, so please get on sci-trek.com and buy your merch quickly because this is in, a week and a half. So let's get on it. Okay guys, thanks. Please, as always, stay safe. I'll see you next time.